2 weeks, maybe another week, that's what we're going to have to be doing. So we're in kind of the end of the spawning period, and we're going to move into a transition period. But I think we've got some more fish to catch today.
Yeah.
Now, once you've found crappies that are about to spawn, you still have to catch them. Several general approaches work well, whether crappies are in canals, bays, reed beds, or on the main lake humps. Canals and bays can be fished from shore or from a boat, but you gotta be quiet. Often the fish hold near the surface during prime time on warm, calm days. These fish can really be spooky. In canals, check the back ends of the canals first. These areas often have the warmest water and the most active crappies. You gotta look for cover, stick-ups, brush, maybe dock poles, anything crappies can relate to. Then pitch a tiny jig, say about a 1/32 ouncer, suspended a foot or two below a small float, just beyond the holding area of the fish. Move the float a foot and let it set. Move it again and let it set again. Crappies will take the jig as it settles back below the float. The same approach works in bays, although sometimes crappies pull back away from the shoreline and hold in deeper water within the bay. So you may need to use a slip float to suspend a jig at the right depth for these fish. But when the weather's fine, look for the fish near shallow cover and often near shore. Main lake reed beds usually require a boat. Work quietly into the wind so you don't blow through the weed bed and spook the fish. If you get to a spot that you want to fish very thoroughly, quietly drop the anchor on a short rope. Fish the area and then use your trolling motor to move forward a bit. Pick off fish as you go, first around the edge of the bed and then into the center of the bed. A plain jig usually does it. No need for a bobber. No need for a minnow either. For crappies holding on main lake humps, stick with the slip float. Experiment with proper depth for the lead head jig. Anchoring will let you fish very, very thoroughly. I prefer to use a 6-foot long light action rod and a matching reel loaded with about 4-pound test line for most situations. Now in heavy cover, on the other hand, you may need to switch to 6 or 8-pound test line just to get the fish out of the cover.
Boy, that's a lot of fun, shallow water crappies. In fact, I love catching them the old-fashioned way, on a cane pole. Somebody's always building a better mouse trap, and you know something? I'm the first guy in line to buy one. New cane poles are absolutely great. After spawning, perhaps a week or two later, the fish shift into another pattern. Deeper in the lake, near the first drop-off, usually right at the weed edge. The fish often concentrate on key spots. And despite the fact that many anglers quit pursuing crappies at this time, it can be one of the hottest patterns of the year. Al Lindner and his nephew James are hot on the trail of crappies during early summer.
You guys got a double? They got a double!